The American Citizen's Handbook, Season 1, Episode 2, How a Bill Becomes a Law, where the process was designed to be thoughtful. Welcome to Spin Cycle America. I'm Coach. This isn't about political parties. This is about principles. It's about history, responsibility, freedom, and having honest conversations about the country we all call home. Let's get started. Have you ever heard someone say Congress never gets anything done, or they take too long, or they're slow, or what are they doing going on break again, or it seems like they're always on break? I'm sure you've heard all that. Well, maybe you've thought of that yourself. It seems frustrating when an important issue takes months or even years to work its way through Congress. But here's a question worth asking. Was our government designed to move slowly? The answer is yes, at least in many cases. The founders believed that making laws affecting millions of people should require careful thought process, debate, and compromise rather than quick decisions made in the heat of the moment. Because everybody jumps to conclusions or they get frustrated or argue and make bad decisions in the heat of the moment. So today, we're going to go ahead and talk or walk through the journey of a bill from the idea of the law and discover why the process takes so long or about that process. Today's topic, every law begins with an idea. Every law starts with an idea. Someone comes up with an idea, and that idea comes from normally an ordinary citizen who contacts a representative, a member of Congress, or a local government or business, or even a president's administration. No matter where the idea comes from or begins with, only a member of Congress can formally introduce a bill into Congress. Once introduced, the proposal becomes a bill. But it still takes a long time to get moving. It's a long road ahead. The process wasn't designed to frustrate people. It was designed to encourage careful consideration. The foundation or the founders understood that laws can affect generations of Americans, generations to come. Because of that, they believed changing the law should require more than a single vote or a single person's approval. So committee where the real work begins. That's where the frustration begins. That's where people start they roll up their sleeves, take off their hats and sit down and get to work. A bill is introduced, it usually is assigned to a committee that specializes in that particular subject. Think of a committee as a study group. You've heard of study groups before, whether it's for medical reasons or something to that effect. Members examine the bill in detail. They hold hearings, experts might testify, supporters and opponents may share their views. Committee members may suggest changes before deciding whether the bill should move forward. And many bills stop here once they get through the committee or through that portion of debate. Only some advance to the full House or Senate. Although committee work doesn't receive much public attention, it plays a major role in shaping legislation. This is where the real work begins, once it passes that. But we, the public, really have no idea of what is going on. So debate, amendments, and vetoes start to begin. Debating amendments and voting on a bill on Capitol Hill follow strict, highly structured rules in the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. Each chamber balances time, majority control, and minority rights differently during the legislation floor process. If a committee approves a bill, it moves to the full House or Senate. Lawmakers debate its merits. Some members argue in favor, others raise concern or propose amendments. When the debate concludes, a vote is held. If the bill passes one chamber, it goes to another chamber, to the other one, where the process begins again. If the House and Senate pass different versions, members work together to reconcile the differences before sending the final version to the President. This back and forth reflects the Constitution's system of checks, discussion, and compromise. This may seem like a long, drawn out process, but it helps keep things in balance and make sure the bill meets all criteria of the Constitution. So here's the role of the President. Once both chambers approve the same version, the bill goes to the President. The President may sign it into law, he may veto it and return it to Congress with objections, or under certain circumstances or under certain constitutional conditions, allow it to become law without his signature. If the President vetoes the bill, Congress can attempt to override the veto with a constitutionally required two-thirds vote in both the House and Senate. That high threshold reflects another safeguard built into the constitutional system. Why this matters? As a football coach, I've learned the biggest decisions shouldn't be made or be rushed. Before a game, we study film, we practice, we make adjustments, we listen to assistant coaches, we ask questions. Why? Because preparation often leads to better decisions. The founders applied the similar process or similar principles to governing. They knew that one system or no system would be perfect, but they believed careful deliberation was generally better than impulsive lawmaking. Whether we agree with the law or not, understanding the process helps us become more informed citizens. So, Constitutional Corner is this. Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution begins with these words: all legislative power herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States. The Constitution places the authority to make laws in Congress, reflecting the founders' decision to divide the power rather than concentrate it into one person. Can you imagine if one person controlled it? Kind of going through that problem right now. History Minute. One of the most important agreements reached during the Constitutional Convention of 1787 was the Great Compromise. Large states wanted representation based on population. Smaller states wanted equal representation. Makes sense, don't you think? Well, the compromise created the system we still have today. The House of Representatives, where representation is based largely on population. The Senate, where every state has 2 senators. The balance continues to shape how laws are made today. So the verse of today is this: the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hastily comes only to poverty. Proverbs, paragraph 21, verse 5. God's decision, whether in life, leadership, or government, often requires patience and careful planning. So here's my question for today. Do you think It's better for Congress to move quickly or carefully when making laws. And why do you think this? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Please keep the conversations respectful and focus on the ideas. Coach's homework. Here's what I'd like you to do between now and next week. Before next Wednesday episode, visit the official Congress website and follow one bill that's currently moving through the legislative process. Don't focus on whether you agree with it or not, because you may not agree with it. If you do, well, that's great too. Instead, pay attention to how it moves through the process, through the system. Understand the process is one of the best ways to become more informed citizen. So here's the final whistle. As a coach, I've learned that some of the biggest mistakes happen when people rush. The best teams prepare, they communicate, they think before they act. The founders believed government should work much the same way. That's why they created the process requires decision, debate, and accountability before a bill becomes a law. You may only you may not always agree with the outcome, and we don't always. As citizens, we don't always agree with the law or the outcome. But understanding the process makes you a stronger citizen. And a nation with informed citizens is stronger because of it. So I'm Coach. Thank you for joining me here on Spin Cycle America. Remember, this isn't about being perfect. It's about being responsible. It's about understanding where you came from, appreciating the freedoms we have, and doing our part to leave this country better for the next generation. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and take care of each other. God bless you, your your family, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. You all have an outstanding day, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Spin Cycle America.